Hey everybody, Superstar back with the story of Star Wars Galaxies. There's nothing really for me to show here, so I'm just going to drive around on the forest moon of Endor, as Admiral Akbar said it, and talk about another story that I had encountered, well, had other experience. Anyway, I was out here with my friend Nobunaga. His name was kind of funny. It was Nobunaga with a dash at the end. You were able to have special characters in the names of Star Wars Galaxies. So I'm just driving in a random direction. Well, I should probably slow down so you can take in the sights. But, anyway, I was either here or on Yavin 4. And we were just kind of, exploring and killing random monsters. But I believe we were on Endor because they had Sony had just added the Death Watch bunker to the game, which was the game's first, real traditional dungeon of sorts. You know what, I'm just gonna walk. Just in case the bark speaker is too loud for you to hear me. Just gonna walk. Nobunaga and I was, just exploring, and we was thinking about going to the Death Watch bunker, because, at this point in the game, the game's development, this is when, we could take down 50 enemies by ourselves, with the right buffs. But the Death Watch bunker was designed to be so hard that you needed a group of, 20 or so people. It's almost a raid of sorts. But, we were thinking about going there, and while we were exploring and debating if we should go to the Death Watch bunker, one of Nobunaga's friends joined us, and we started, just traveling together instead of by ourselves. And randomly, the Nobunaga's friend, I don't recall the guy's name, but the friend, he would do damage to a creature, and then suddenly, he would equip a lightsaber and do one hit and kill the monster, or the creature, or whatever you want to call it. The mob, I should say. And I was freaking out because at this point, this is at the time where you really had to work for force sensitivity, and that's what I was still doing at the time, but I was taking a break and doing some exploring and different things like that. And I was freaking out because he was like one of the first Jedi characters that I had ever seen in this game, anyway. So I shouted, I literally typed /shout, "You're a Jedi!" And the guy just kind of looks at me, with this, and he kind of has this disgruntled emote or whatever. And Nobunaga sent me a whisper or a tell, or whatever you want to call it. They were called tells in this game. T-E-L-L. Tells. They were called tells in this game. He sent me a tell saying, don't do that. Don't shout out that he's a Jedi. And I'm like, why not? He says because if there's a bounty hunter player nearby, he'll track down the Jedi and try and kill him. Because if a Jedi was not careful, whenever, not careful about showing his force sensitivity in public places, he would get a bounty on his head that a player bounty hunter could pick up and hunt him down, or her. And there was a time, I'm not sure how true this is, but I heard that there was a time, I think it was before the combat upgrade, that whenever you got your Jedi character, if that character died 3 times, the character was permanently dead. Permadeath. So, you had to be extremely careful whenever building up your character as a Jedi. Because if you died 3 times, that's it. I don't know how true that is. But if that was true, man, I'm glad I didn't hit Jedi, force sensitivity before the combat upgrade. Anyway, yeah, you can just walk down just straight cliffs. Just walk it. Anyway, I thought that was so cool that the game system allowed for player bounties on each other. I wish that they would have extended the system to allow for players to put bounties on other players, but limit it to where you couldn't do it so much where it became like griefing or laming or whatever you want to call it. Well, it would have been cool, like, say that we're having a guild war with another guild, which you could do. Guilds could designate another guild as, like, sworn enemies. And if people from those 2 guilds saw each other, they could engage in PvP without challenging the person to a duel or anything like that. You could just go up and attack the person if your guild was the enemy of another guild, which was pretty cool. I mean, but it was a really underused feature. I guess that was a good thing, though, for a lot of guilds, especially the smaller ones. But, anyway, he was just taking out his lightsaber at the time for that final hit, because you have to use the weapon you want to gain XP for, at least for 1 hit, to gain XP. So he was leveling up his Jedi class in the smart way by limiting his exposure of force sensitive abilities. His lightsaber, his force use, everything. So he would only use his Jedi abilities at the last second to minimize exposure and the possibility of having a player bounty. So, after the combat upgrade, I think Jedi could still get player bounties on their head if they weren't careful, but permadeath was gone. Again, I don't know how true the permadeath thing was, but I had never heard of anyone, permadying. But at the same time, the Jedi class, the 4 subclasses of Jedi, were so powerful that even an initiate Jedi was probably more powerful than anything in the game. Um, and could stand on their own for against hordes and hordes of players. But imagine, like, I had never heard of someone actually reaching Jedi Master status in the game because that took, like, a lot of work and even involves some PvPing. Against, I believe, Sith characters, you know, the ones that chose to be Dark Jedi. But, I believe I had seen a Jedi Knight before, and he was basically, whenever he walked in the room, you know, so to speak, everything died. Just everything died. He was a one-man, let's say he was a one-man 300. You know, if you've seen the movie 300, you know what I'm talking about. He was a one-man 300. 300 Spartans in one man. And he just basically blinked, and there was total annihilation everywhere around him. It was basically that simple. So, that's how awesome it was to be Jedi, or Dark Jedi, before the new game enhancement. Now that, you know, anyone can be a Jedi and they've so-called balanced the classes, I mean, a medic can kill me. Really. Like, if I was to challenge a medic to a duel, he could kill me without much problem. Yeah, granted, I do suck at PvP, but at the same time, I'm a Jedi. He's a medic. That goes against so much of the Star Wars mythos that it's appalling. And I mean, whoa, that music scared me. But yeah, I mean, it's appalling that something as weak as a combat medic could take on a fully trained Jedi and win, you know, without much difficulty. I mean, the whole point of reaching Jedi status was so you could be the best. It was hard work. I mean, it took me 3 years to become Force sensitive. And for the people that put in that work, and trust me, it was work. I mean, you had to grind so much stuff and guess at classes you needed to master and do these quests that would only come about like every, what was it, like 6 to 8 weeks or so. If you didn't catch it during those 2 weeks, you had to wait like another 6 to 8 weeks before the quest would come around again. Talking about the village of Aurelia, which was how Jedi status was, you know, how you gain Jedi status after the combat upgrade went live. If I remember right, you had to do quests in the village instead of grinding out professions. I mean, it was a good idea, but at the same time, having to wait 6 to 8 weeks if you missed a quest during one of the village's 4 phases was stupid, to be honest. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a neat idea, but again, having to wait for 6 to 8 weeks, again, stupid. But overall, it was a good way to still keep the work involved in attaining Force sensitivity, but not making it so easy as, hey, I'm gonna create a Jedi character, and be as weak as a small child, you know, as far as Star Wars classes go. But yeah, I believe that that's all I have to say on that story and that note. So, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later.